now, which is obviously still pretty good. What does that put them in? About 4th, I think?
Yeah, right there. Still, at least the fact that they've been within the top 4, top 3 consistently throughout the day. Look at our competitors right now. Really locked in here. Let's get started as we move back onto World's Edge. And I'm already liking the look on where this circle may be taking us, Gino.
Ooh.
As our competitors get situated within their POIs, we may be seeing a southern zone here.
I wish it had pulled a thermal, but I don't think it will.
There's lava there, don't you know?
We can always hope.
The conspiracy theory out here with the lava. Shout out to Snipe Down. Hey, it's a really good observation, honestly, here. But while we take a look at Guild, our team that just won on Broken Moon, they needed this. A little bit of room to breathe, but also something to kickstart the rest of the night, the rest of the journey for their competitive debate here, because they didn't have the strongest start. But now coming off of this, you know, maybe seeing they have the ring console.
So Guild Esports, one of the teams who haven't changed their composition the entire day. Doesn't matter what map we play, they have played Bangalore, Pathfinder, Watson. They reveal the next ring, and it will be going down by the looks of it to Tree. Interesting, fun, little something different. Now, a couple of teams have switched it up, of course, going back over here. I am surprised by the amount of Bloodhound we're seeing.
Made it to the next level.
You know, the ultimate, now that they've made the change that you don't get threat vision through Bangalore smokes, and despite Bangalore being at a 100% pick rate, you can see on the map stream here on the left panel, every single team has that Bangalore in position. Now, that's why, you know, in previous metas, Bang was paired with that. We saw an almost 100% pick rate for Bang because you could see through it, and it just enabled one player on your team to be doing damage at all times, no matter what. That is no longer the case.
So it's so strong to be able to see the Seer, going to be able to get all the information that you need, especially early on. But look how many squads have actually been able to get that early rotate here. I love the side-by-side. Zone is shrinking indeed, and with those 30 seconds before that zone shrink, it does reveal the Evil Harvesters, which is why you're seeing already 3 teams here by Tree. They already made that rotate. Disguise obviously landing by Thermal, so they're going to take their time before they get that ring console. Crazy Raccoon, their POI is Tree. And Fennel, another team now, off of Evac Tower, have already started their rotate.
As you said, Guild with a big jump up in Evo. Sorry, not Evo. Well, they just got some Evo from the Assault bin. A big jump up in points after their win previously. And yeah, they're moving through, coming through the choke outside of Geyser. But I mean, it's not going to be a priority rotate by any means for them, Vicky. Southern Zone, not so great for Overlook. They're really hoping for more of those repeat Skyhook zones, some of those Epi zones, Overlook zones, which there were a lot of. But, you know, with the changes to the ring prediction where it, you know, will shift to one quadrant of the map over another, it does seem to have helped out some of that
oh man,
repeat zones we were having.
Calling him out though, and having to pop the Seer ult. It's the fight for the survey beacon, but look to your 6 enemies. Having to be careful now, forcibly playing off the low ground, and they get the res on the other side, and they're playing off the gen here too. So they're passively healing up. Can Disguise get away? They send out that Thermite, trying to get that finishing blow. The portal, I'm not even sure if you currently see Design really take advantage of it. It didn't look like it. It looked like he just queued away. But in this case here, they still were able to get that finisher.
Oh, they try and make it to the other building. And it looks like the other two will do that, but tail between their legs. They've lost a member, and I don't know if they will be able to get him back.
Interesting here with Fennel having to play inside of this building. This is a team that is sitting in dead last, you know. Time is of the essence for a team like this, so maybe playing a lot more passively, safe, not trying to overextend, which also calls into question Disguised. Are they going to try to overextend themselves to try to get that banner going? You can see him already popping that ultimate accelerant. He has another one at his feet ready to go, ready to pop in with that portal. Trying to close in the distance here, but while they're trying to fight this in the distance, you already see somebody else by that choke. Design falls back, takes that portal. Overextending!
Yeah, they follow it.
Oh, but they get the knock onto Design. Disguised, eliminated Fennel. They needed this. This jumps them up into 18th, but this is also the double whammy when it comes to the Wraith, Gino.
Who's your worst enemy? Doors, apparently. I mean, if you want a reason why you don't pick Wraith, I mean, there's one of them.
Imagine like trying to preemptively open the door before you commit to the portal there, I guess, tier 2, but it's so difficult also making that decision when there's so many other teams in the area. I mentioned a squad by that choke. It was Crazy Raccoon by Tree that are actually hugging that southern side of the tree zone that Fennel will eventually probably climb the rocks towards as we take a look at even more teams. Basically everybody but Falcons, Aurora, and Red Rams, as well as Icholos, have put themselves in this next circle.
So Twisted Minds, as we saw there, lost a member. Starting out in Landslide. A POI that got a lot better after the introduction of the new Evos and upgrade system. Without having to rely on, you know, initial armor upgrades, the centrality of that POI and the ability to rotate out of it quickly. It's a big upgrade, and it's an upgrade for a team like Twisted Minds who liked playing out of there, who, you know, like the fast rotate flexibility of that POI, but unfortunately, they do lose a member at the start of Game 7.
And this is one of those circles that there's so many teams that you could coexist. We usually highlight that with Skyhook, but specifically Tree, it's not like the same typical you're inside of the same building, although these buildings do provide some of that extra space, but a lot of people could also play off the low ground, after the natural terrain, the rocks by the tracks as well. So many different angles that you could play off of the natural terrain here that you keep other squads in your line of sight without really putting yourself in a vulnerable position.
This spot is only good for Watson teams.
Yeah.
Please don't try and play it if you don't have a pylon. You will get destroyed, but it does mean that if you're a team that's rotating in a little bit later, which Guild did in match 7 here, and you're a Watson team, you know, maybe you get the chance to take that over when the other teams can't. And there's, you know, it's roughly about a 50% pick rate in this lobby on the Watson, so nice little pick up there.
Respawn beacon right here.
Ping on the Moby.
Did he just leave that ultimate accelerant behind?
Did.
I hope not.
Different priority.
I hope not, because I know some people on Reddit are going to have something to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, at least he's got the priority with the 12 shield cells. I think he's got enough out here. But looking to maybe see if he's got better attachments to work with on the Havoc. Looks like he's only got the blue stock on board. But double red, purple expected from Team Falcons as they are playing on the edge of the circle.
You can see this is one of the most diverse Legend metas we have seen in top-level Apex Legends esports. It's awesome. Look at this. You know, comps at 5%, 10% across the board. It's just awesome to see. I mean, yeah, so the top composition there, I think, is 20% there with Bang, Seer, and Watson. That's beautiful. That's a healthy meta, Vicky. I love this.
I do. I like it too, because then on the other half, you have the Fuse, right? So then you have to consider what the Watson provides as a counter with the Gen, and then the Knuckle clusters and what Fuse provides with the Mother Load and information. You got the double whammy, actually, on the information when you have the Seer included in the comp, and then you could go for something more comfortable if you like the Bloodhound instead of the Seer, like you highlighted at the very beginning of this game.
Yeah, the Bloodhound scan is still very good. It's a lot more reliable than something like the Focus of Attention coming out on the Seer Tactical, but the ultimate is greatly reduced in utility, unfortunately. So, interesting. It has surprised me to see as much Bloodhound as we've had so far today.
That was unfortunate. Just the Seer ult just being poked out through the window from the inside of the cart here too. While then you have another Seer ult from the low ground, KCP, fighting for their life, but their Gen is not safe either. Nice shots with the Hemlock. Gonna be able to back away though. Not gonna give up this space for now. This is the high ground on the train tracks that I had noted when you see a lot of teams trying to coexist. Obviously a squad playing right below them, but eventually they will have to move with the circle pulling down to the south.
Well, I was just about to say, sometimes we do get the finishes on the train tracks, right? So we're seeing a big split in terms of where the teams are playing right now. Some are like GG and like FaZe are up towards that northern side near the train tracks and around Lava Siphon, while you've got quite a few teams down in Tree as well. So, I mean, yeah, we'll get that answer in 20 seconds about whether it starts shifting one way or the other. Honestly, could go in the middle as well. So, yeah, the team's honestly just playing a bit of a guessing game at this point.
You could also take a safe approach here too, where if you are going to wait on the safer side, like you see from Falcons, actually, from Thermal Station, even with Aurora coming in behind them, we know that they have an evac tower. Strafing Flame, fighting for his life. The fact that Twisted Minds is getting focused in an area like this, I mean, there's a lot of different openings that a lot of squads could have in your line of sight here, but as a duo, they are so vulnerable, lacking a little bit on shields here, too. He only had one shield bat. Look at that one shield cell here, too, from Easy Flash.
Shambles. Absolute shambles.
Shambolic town. Very difficult.
Shambhala? I don't know. I've got a family friend called Shambhala. Maybe that's the nickname we need to start giving people.
Especially when you're working off the sticks out here too. Or Rain. Like the movement here, just so that way he could get off of this lip, heal up. Also trying to gatekeep this team that's trying to exit out of Harvester. I believe this is KCP still inside the zone. It is. Kazak wants to be able to try to close in the distance here. Look at the aggression and the different angles that Aurora's taking.
Sliding down just to try and grab this last kill.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Nice wall jump. Not going to do much for you, but does buy a little bit of time for his teammates to get back in, and they're actually doing. They might be going for the. Oh no, I think one of them are they just knocked in the zone, or are they going for the split rat strat?
They had gone for the res, committed to the res, and they called out the straggler that was trying to run away from them. The poor Seer, obviously, what mobility, right? So he was trying to run for his life. Aurora followed up right behind them with the chase. Knows now that KCP is injured as a duo now, playing off of the Thermal Station side before rotating now from the south side of Harvester towards FaZe and Gaming Gladiator.
It's fascinating that they got the one member. They would have been able to hear the respawn happening, and they didn't go and chase those other two kills. I'm quite surprised about that from Aurora. I mean, maybe they were just looking for a spot in zone.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. I feel like their priority right now, knowing how many teams are in this zone, they want to be able to find a spot. And they actually take the gamble and took an evac tower to fly over everybody else in this lobby to then see if they could find space, maybe underneath the train tracks, where we usually see some teams try to coexist in a final tree zone, which, by the way, is pulling south all the way towards those southern buildings on the outskirts of Tree, where NIP, Cholos had already called out.
Yeah, look, don't rub it in too much, Vicky, but you were absolutely correct.
Very
we
rare.
are going south. Oh, don't even start with that. You've seen them all with the amount you play ranked. Anyway, it continues to pull south here, and with this, we'll see the next one. Okay. We get on Cholos and onto NIP as well. So it's on the southmost of those lower buildings in the Tree POI. And yeah, that means NIP, this is all on them.
It's also really scary playing off the low ground of that building, because we know that there's a lip of the hilltop that exits out of the truck that you have on the outskirts of the Tree buildings, that any spot on the high ground, because it's a free range here as Falcons forcibly climb their way up, get the first knock, make it two, and looking for the last tracker. Look how the way that they just forced their way up on the high ground, taking care of this team, gets another crack on a spot right in front of them. That's Crazy Raccoon. So they looked at Fennel, they're looking Crazy Raccoon, but Reject maybe coming up from right behind him or even low ground here. But how? He is looking in every direction, breaking his neck.
It's insane how quickly he's able to switch his focus from one team to another. Grab kills here, there, the Falcons combining to push their lead even further here. Twisted Minds do finally go out.
The fact that they looked at Reject, then they looked at Fennel, and then they still got the crack on Crazy Raccoon, who backed away, by the way, said, I don't want none of that business, and then still proceeded to hold their ground, are chasing after the solo that is Reject.
Yeah, it's something just about their confidence, right? Because I feel like if you see other teams in that situation, they look, they see another team, they're like, oh gosh, we better calm down, we better, you know, not get sandwiched in between other teams. Falcons have just such ridiculous, unshakable belief in themselves, and why wouldn't you when you're so far ahead of all the other teams right now that they see another team and they're like, hey, there's a KP over there, guys, let's go get it.
Look at the crowd. I love the side-by-side view. And it's what you mentioned, with a team holding first place with 89 points, the gap between themselves. Second place, Team Liquid, holding 66 points at the moment. Why not overextend right here as Makers get eliminated, 16 squads left. And currently, Team Falcons are forcing their way through Tree side, right on top of GHS.
Guild finally having to move out of their spot. Will they make it out alive? So many teams are sitting in and around them. Falcons looks like they've made it underneath Tree. That's actually going to be a tough spot for them to play from.
Oh.
Especially when it gets revealed that this zone is going to swing all the way east towards, you know, NIP, Aurora.
Look at the way that they're playing off these different corners here. With LG safe inside the corner of this circle. They tried to send out some nades earlier, but there was a gen on the other side that now LG could take advantage of. FaZe get eliminated after they were booted out originally. Guild is going to be able to approach from right behind Luminosity, and Team Liquid, the team that we were highlighting before, Falcons, end up surviving.
Hal has been on fire today. And once again, comes up exactly when they need him. Somehow, by the way, there's no one else around to finish off the single member of Team Falcons that is left alive. They will get a full reset. Ridiculous plot armor right here.
It's just the fact that the solo of Fennel looked, tried to see if maybe there was an opportunity, heard the res, didn't even try to take any shots at them. Just trying to survive to the best of their ability here as Guild really riding off of the momentum from the last game. The last solo of Fennel finally does get called out by LG, but eventually these teams on the outside of the circle have to funnel in. Red Rams are also inside this building, but so is NIP. Falcons coming around as we see that replay earlier on. This was the moment that they were looking at, what, 3 different teams all at the same time, one after the other. It was non-stop, but NIP have control over this building and a Kraber in hand.
Hal's up to 6 kills this game. He's taken the kill lead for the overall in this lobby, and Falcons have also breached 100 points here in match 7. They are very much on their way to grabbing those 9 advanced standing points going into Sunday.
That is huge. Also, the only team with full red Evos, by the way, 3-man Evos going into this next circle, even with LG now losing out on Funk. They have to start moving. Nasky with that huge Kraber shot, really changing the course to prevent them from trying to circle, keep them on the other side.
Ninjas in Pajamas, 13th place here. We've mentioned that they've got Godspot. They have to convert this to improve their chances. Top 9, remember, that's what the teams need here. Top 9 to make it into the finals.
How is Sweet still alive? That is insane. With a sliver of health after getting that Evo Shield swap, though, keeping them in the game. Look at the knocks here, too. But this is the high ground right here on this hilltop by the truck that I mentioned that provides so much advantage in a circle like this. Because these teams in the building, they were stuck there. Even if you try to move away, you were going to get caught in the line of sight of the squads exiting out a tree. And Luminosity. There you go. Peekaboo, I see you. NIP. Where are you running, Sweet? Only so much you could do. The last member taken out and Luminosity eliminated.
And that's so important because now NIP don't have to worry about anything else. It's just Falcons. They can focus on that. They can plan it around. They've got 17 seconds until the zone starts to close. They can work out what their next move is going to be because, as you mentioned, it's a tough one. They've got that high ground.
You know, Team Falcons have 111 points, by the way. Ninja in Pajamas have 30 points. It's just the perspective of the gap that we're seeing. Second place with Liquid have 73 points. And Falcons are looking to take a 3rd win under their belt. But NIP trying to cook up something here with the zip line on the other side.
I mean, the gen's going to work here. NIP, they've switched over to the Watson to try and play this more edge play style. Zone play style. It's working here. They got Godspot. They've been able to neutralize that bang ult coming in towards them. Let's see if the other ultimates will allow them to get the win here. It's going to be tough. Falcons, 2 wins already in the 10 games total we've got here today. But look at that. Perfect vision. This means Hal can aim his nades even more accurately with the small amount of cover NIP have left.
Nail in the coffin. Stop. Stop. They're already dead. We have to see how they get out of this. Are they going to just fully send it to zipline? He's cutting them off from the zipline entrance too. Zero trying to get an off angle, willing to take the extra circle damage, so doesn't want to overextend, get called out, and Seer also providing the extra vision.
Look at this, I mean, a few cells left in the backpack. NIP have been bled dry. Can Falcons finish exsanguinating them here?
Look at the way that they're jumping on top of these rocks. King of the hill, Pride Walk. Welcome the Kings, Team Falcons. Take another game, 3 dubs in the books. What a dominating team. what he does best. That is why he is the kill leader in this entire lobby. As we get started again, everyone, our last game number 8 on World's Edge before we move on to Storm Point.
Yeah, it's insane how much info he feeds back as well. I mean, he just has so much experience being an IGL himself that he knows what info he needs to relay back to Zero. And I think that's one of the big differences between this iteration of, Zero Gen +1 and the other previous versions of it, Vicky, is that, I think Zero really had to, force Zainu or Sykes to give him that information, whereas Hal does it automatically. He takes initiative. He knows where to go, what space to take, who needs to be put down when we have Falcons looking to take space. So it's just... yeah, it adds just this whole new dynamic, this whole new element to the team that has made them go from, one of the 2 top teams in the world to a very clear #1.
They're a very scary team, and that's why we keep harping on this, because it's just a level of competition you don't really get to see elsewhere, especially in a battle royale, right? You have RNG factors as an element here in a game like this, but you try to eliminate the RNG as much as possible with your decision on the POIs, your legend compositions, obviously, knowing where these beacons are more likely to spawn out here too. And it looks like you saw a little sneak peek there. It is. All right, that's kind of teasing us a little bit, but the circle will be pulling towards either No Name or even between No Name to Overlook. We've seen this circle plenty of times where, who knows, sometimes we've seen it pull towards the bins on the left side of Overlook, out on the outskirts of that ring console, or even towards No Name and north of No Name here, where Guild Esports could really take advantage of, since they have the Evil Harvester, but they don't have that ring beacon. They have it on the other side, actually. They have the Overlook here,
Guild do manage to grab that, so that's, it's going to be super useful information for them. This is exactly the kind of game that Guild likes to play, right? Like, zone, bam, straight there. It does make it a little bit harder because it means they don't really get much chance to grab Evo on the way. If you look at where the Evo Harvesters are placed, Vicky, there's one to the north, which would take them well out of their way in terms of being able to, rotate and get priority. And the other one is south of, or north of No Name, actually. I think that's the one that they potentially should have gone for, but they are playing just for Overlook at the moment.
They did at the very beginning. They did play a little split off, so that way they could at least get that Evil Harvester once it became online there. And then we saw them actually just reunite together over by Overlook. And I don't expect them to be moving, because they are one of the teams with the Watsons. We see a lot of Watsons, obviously, in this lobby, but they're going to be bunkered down and preventing other squads from trying to get control over that ring console by Overlook. And so many other teams have already gotten ahead of the curve and trying to rotate here. You can see LG with Funk is literally one, but the gold knockdown onto Sweet. He gets taken out first, and that's a really bad sign here with KCP looking to see if they can capitalize off of this.
Just looking at the furrow in Sykes' brow there, he's worried. This is not a good situation for Luminosity to be finding themselves in so early, especially when they're... they're in 4th spot right now. They're looking pretty good to make it into Sunday. And I don't know if we've talked about this enough, Vicky. Getting top 9 is important.
Yeah.
If you make it into the LCQ, if you're in that bottom 11, not a good place to be. Only 2 teams out of 20 make it out of the LCQ. You just don't want to put yourself in that situation.
It's so incredibly brutal, but it's also the insane advantage that teams that have that extra data just watch and figure out what they want to do to approach the teams that will make it out is something else. And Falcons now coming up from behind the chaos that we just saw from Luminosity earlier, coming up from Countdown, but Falcons lose out on Gen originally, but Zero with the hipfire, with the Hemlock shots, is able to take down Sykes. You talk about the morale that was shown on Sykes' face there too, but they completely just encapsulated on top of him, while Funk, none of my business. He is out of there. He's hasta la vista for real now, going towards Lava Fisher, seeing what he could get done here.
Oh no. Okay, just gets another smoke up in time here to be able to try and get the next res onto Jen Burton. That was an uncharacteristic miss on the spray there from Jen. I mean, we saw that from his point of view. Obviously, he has been slapping today, but that was not the spray he was looking for.
Is Aurora with the red Evo already, by the way? Very quick, with the round one not even done closing. And that's the fact that they do land in Skyhook, but you can imagine what they were able to take advantage of. There was a survey in Grandma's house. They probably were able to get information over by Skyhook, or maybe even a vault key. You know, that also gives you some extra Evo shield points as well. With Kazakh having that red Evo, you already know he's got that purple perk on the lifeline. Probably ready to put it down. Has the gold knockdown, the gold bag here too. That's the perks of having the vault already open. Great call out right there as Team Liquid also flying in from the skies right on top of GK.
Yeah, and that's gold-plated, right? You can see the Kazakhs already picked up that upgrade on level 3, and then, yeah, just catapulting themselves to level 4 with the Evo cache that it does allow you. Disguised, picking up that Sentinel. Always popping the cells just to try and make it a little bit more deadly. Actually, one of the things I only just found out from one of our other customers the other day is that the charging also increases the projectile size.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Of the Sentinel, which makes it even easier to hit the shots.
I love this little overhead, guys. LG is currently respawning Sykes and Sweet. It is not over for the LG squad. And even called it an evac tower from Countdown here. Maybe trying to wrap around in the safer approach. This is early circle, obviously. This first ring here that's closing. So they could take a slower approach through Skyhook if they wanted to, and maybe even come up from behind Aurora.
Okay, where's the zone going? Does it go towards the tunnel? That's going to be my call, and you can call me a fool in 2 seconds if I'm wrong, but I should have asked you to make the prediction, Vicky, because you're the one who's smashing it out of the park today. But look, actually a bit more towards Overlook. You know, potentially could keep going down towards those tunnel entrances. I think I'm just calling for that because I enjoy those circles. I find it quite fun when you get to play sort of bottom and no name and up above the vault tunnel.
And then see all the teams are going to fight for their lives when they come out of like the vault tunnel area as well from the Geyser side. A lot of areas to coexist, but that's also why we highlighted Guild and their positioning early on. Not only is that their POI, but having the ring console, they're just going to be camping that the whole time, you know? Something that characters that could scan the survey beacons don't have that luxury like that, where you could only do that with Control Legends and ring consoles.
Nah, it's a fantastic point. You know, we were looking at it. Do they play for Ghost Town? Do they go north? But yeah, you're right. They just want to stay on that ring console in order to essentially sort of play like an edge team in terms of, you know, scanning ring 3, ring 4 information and then making their move off that. It's just that you don't often get circles where you can just sit on a ring console all day. Usually those sight lines are compromised in some way, but not here.
Makers also kind of taking a look at the ring console over by Geyser, although I do believe this circle is going to be benefiting the likes of Guild, or even the squads have already called out No Name here. A lot of open area though, so if this does pull away from Guild, you could expect them to be in a tough position with Red Rams being right behind them. I like how we get to now take a look at teams like Aurora that we know like to play by the edge, but Luminosity slowly figuring out their footing again after having a very rough start, losing out on Sweet earlier, which also means they lost out on the gold knockdown that Sweet had in the very beginning. Oh, they just flew in right on top of them. Oh no! No, not on a silver platter on top of Aurora. Sykes can't catch a break.
Yep, that's another death in the tally in the column there for Sykes, unfortunately. They're not down and out yet. As you can see, Funk's still up at the top. Zone is very quickly going to start causing problems for him. He's got one syringe left. It's this fight or it's nothing, and it is nothing for Luminosity. Aurora, they're sitting in number 4. They're having a good time. Oi Rain cackling to himself.
When you start off the game like that, if you're looking at Luminosity, I feel like you already know, like, it's just a downfall of momentum. You know, it's just when you start off super rough, get the res, but you're forced to expend your meds, and you don't have a lot to work with in terms of loot. Then you have to play out of the circle, and then you get gate-kept by what you could expect Aurora, right? Because they were rotating north the whole time. A team that likes to play edge. Very capable here as RC having the height right now. Prompu with the pressure on the knuckle cluster. And he's also going to be able to get some more information, but they ran the risk looking at Aurora, playing off this low ground, the mother load keeping them entrapped.
Yeah, look, evac tower not required here. The other team in such a small area that the Fuse ultimate will very easily lock them in. They try and get out on the zipline. It actually works. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, they just got over the top of the grenades, the mother load.
I see them zip through the zip line for free. Like, I mean, okay, to be fair, they are fast. You do have to try to track them a little bit quicker. The ring sometimes, too, could obscure your vision the way that they try to go into that zone. But there's also, like, two teams ready to gatekeep Aurora right now. I'm talking about KCP, Disguise, who are lingering by fragment at the moment. This is even more pressure as you take a look. KCP noting this. Have one med kit here, but also taking their time.
Now, this could help Aurora. If Pioneers and Disguise take a little bit too long to deal with each other here, Aurora may have a window of opportunity to get back in the zone. You saw they were fairly low on meds as this fight starts in earnest. Design goes down first and is relying on Q here to buy them some time as they get the reset, and it works.
Double reset. Okay, Design, though, going in to try to get the re-knock out here, too. And then on the outskirts, in the line of sight of Evos. Disguise now fighting their way and managing to get some space here, too. Evos, they could take what they could get right now. They're backing away without trying to overcommit, because guess what? Aurora is now showing face.
Aurora's here, and you can see they're on the wrong side of Disguised attention at the moment.
Well, Evos is still over by the distance with the alley-oop, still taking shots at the stragglers on the outskirts of the train station. Aurora in a lot of trouble, but still managing to stay alive.
There's 5 different teams here. There's currently 5 teams in Fragment. The zone's not
They got the res.
particularly close.
They got the res at least. They did lose out on one from Aurora, but Lifefront staying alive from Kazak is going to be able to get the res into the Bang. The Bang now is able to put down the ults. And you can hear the portal coming in from Design. Where do they go when there is 5 other teams in this pathing into the next zone?
Okay, portal is very good here. That was a perfect time to use that. And they actually rock up and find themselves in a spot next to Evo's Predators here. So that's a nice little pickup.
Even worse if you're Aurora still trying to fight your way as a duo into that next circle. Disguise waiting for you by the train tracks. Reject also looking at you from the high ground that exits out of Epi. Evos playing off the little lip of the rock, though, in a bit of a difficult spot, aside from the natural landform, because you still have Gaming Gladiators behind you by the train track, by the train car. GK now move in with the alternator. Gold knock, though, not going to help him out here. Racky's the last one alive, one shot. And GK Esports get eliminated with Disguise, only having Design to work his magic.
GK right on the bubble as well, 10th spot. Every point is extremely important to the mostly Australian team, the Apex South team there. So they will go out, but there's still 2 more matches for them to make that difference.
Same thing with Disguise, with only Design alive, sitting in 8th here. Evos also needing all these extra points. Can they pop it off? The triple take, the hipfire shots, it's not going to be enough. The Bangalore ult coming in to eliminate Crazy Raccoon. Evos Esports, Design is still alive for his team.
It's Design and Design alone, Vicky, and that's not enough. You need to be keeping them all up and running, and they just can't do it. Guild Esports, in the meantime, have used the ring console for probably the last time to start heading up north, where they can deal with, say, Red Rams, who are still in Overlook in the village. Or, I know we haven't seen much of them so far this game yet, Vicky, but just in case you were wondering, Falcon's probably in God's spot.
I mean, I'm not too surprised. Why not, right? Why not? They just walk through, taking their time. And although this entire zone here is very scattered with the amount of teams holding onto each corner without actually committing into a circle like this. And it's what we mentioned before. It's very out in the open as NIP gets sent back to the lobby. 11 squads left with the flyby to really highlight the pressure. And I talked about the Skies before because they're sitting in 9th place, Genome. There's only 2 more games after this left.
Every one of those teams around that 9th, 10th, 8th spot, they have to be worried about every single point that they're getting. So yeah, Design, if he can just eke out 1 or 2 placement points here, it's a big deal.
And he barely has any ammo here too. Well, Fennel forced their way inside this train car. They're getting pinged though in the distance. The third party, Twisted Minds, moving in design, trying to capitalize. He needs extra loot. Hell, they see him in the corner. All right, can't be slick here, even though you put down your portal. See him fixing his glasses here in the cam. Striking Flame still alive with player K, who's able to pop this med kit.
He survives that tiny bit longer, though. He gets that one extra place, 2 placement points in total there for Designful. So, look, he's done the job and probably as much as you could have asked for him in that situation. Okay, we've dealt with all of the madness down on the south side towards Ghost Town. Now we are going to move up to where the real business is going to happen, the north of this map, up above the tunnel. We're seeing Twisted Minds here try and grab a res. Can Strafing find the time to lay a smoke down and get that one off?
That looked terrifying from Twisted Minds' point of view. And even like a mother load on the other side from another team. I think that was Red Rams right behind Reject. Reject were like, all right, they want to go for the res. They dropped down from the high ground. But do they really want to close in this gap with FaZe? Also looking at Guild and E-Cholos. That's happening on the other side of the zone from what we saw from Reject and Twisted Minds. Oh, Striking Flame! Reject get eliminated! Twisted Minds as a duo take care of Reject, and Striking Flame had an insane nade in the feed.
And that means they should have bought the space. Yes, they have. Easy Flash is back in, and Twisted Minds are back on the menu. They've got a lot of space to themselves. Most of the other teams towards the eastern side of this map. The other 5 squads over there, Falcons now moving up north to buy some space of their own.
As we tune into FaZe, looking at Guild, Red Rams on the other side though, getting crack after crack, every knock onto Legacy. Jesco, 5 goes up and looking behind you. Nags gets beamed. He needs some suppressed fire, but they were too fixated on the team to their left without looking who was right behind them.
Yeah, Guild and Red Rams all of a sudden being a problem for FaZe. And can MT get Legacy back up? No! It's a top 4. That's minimum 5 placement points here, but they would have hoped to convert a little more from this overlook zone.
Oh, he still got him.
Oh,
all right, hold on. He still got him though. You know, at least one more. At least one more.
He gets the fist bump, and you know what? They deserve it, because as we just say that, they do. They make something out of that situation. Anyway, final 3v3. Team Falcons, Twisted Mind, #1 versus #2 right now.
I've seen this before here. Team Falcons looking to finally engage, and Twisted Minds down a member already. Player K working off of the gold knock.
Let's not forget, it was Legends Gaming that ruined things at Overlook at Split 1 playoffs for Falcons in this exact spot. Can they do it again?
History repeats itself, though. It's a trade-off from both sides, with Zero going down. How clearing space with the knuckle cluster here. He slides through. How can he do it? He is one. He gets one knock, playing off the knockdown. He has to try to get the reset. Playing incredibly patiently. Look at this. Oh no, the reload. He fails to do it, but even better.